So in today's video, I'm going to teach you how something as simple as how you place your lead thumb on the grip could be the key to unlocking effortless distance in your golf swing. See, we've studied the best players in the world, as well as measuring this ourselves with our grip technology, and we figured out these key benefits that are really unlocked when you get the proper activation and utilization of the V's of the hands on the handle. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 key benefits that we're going to unlock by just getting this proper placement of this lead thumb on the grip, and how this activation of this V is really the key. So we talked about this a lot on the podcast. So if you're new here or you want to get caught up to speed, everything's linked below. Before we start talking about all these awesome benefits, let's go through just a basic 4-step process and how we're going to get this lead thumb placement consistent every time. Okay, so step 1 is going to be getting the proper pinch between your thumb and forefinger here. You're going to see when you do this how you're going to create this little muscle right here. We'll call this our claw muscle. And this is kind of giving you an indication that you're getting that proper activation. See, commonly we see when people try to get this pinch, they get thumb down here too much. You can see no muscle, or up this way, again, not as much muscle. You can see here really flexing that muscle when you're getting that proper pinch there. And this is extremely important because this is creating the notch that the club is going to set in, and that's really what's going to allow you to get that proper connection, and we'll get to that in a sec. But this is the number one most important thing. And then once you get this pinch here, you're going to feel like that's like sewed together. Do the same thing with all the other fingers too. Okay, so you're going to see, imagine if you had like water and you just dropped water, it would just funnel off your fingers. There would be no cracks in the or gaps in the fingers. And a good drill you could do too is a drill we call the coin drill. So what you're going to do is you just take a coin and put it in here in between your thumb and forefinger in this little kind of notch here, and then just pinch that together, and that coin will stay right in there. And you could even just practice making some swings with the compact club and just feeling what that feels like by keeping that coin in there. It's a really simple drill for you, and a really good one as well. So step 2 is going to be getting the proper wrist and finger extension. This is important because when we're gripping the golf club, we want our pads to be on top of the handle. See, when we don't have any extension in the wrist, we're just holding it like this, and that would get it in the palm too much and cause some problems. So just go wrist and finger extension, and then now that's going to align those pads more on top of the handle. Now the 3rd step in the process is when we do this, when we get the proper wrist and finger extension, we're not really getting this V or this notch turned on the side of the handle enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to institute our rule that we call the 20-degree rule, where we're just taking this V and we're rotating it 20 degrees clockwise. So that's what's going to get that lead thumb on the top trail side of the club. Now you can see this is really positioned nicely to where the thumb is on the top trail side of the grip. Okay, and now we're in the main spot where we've got to make that connection. Can't miss this, but we need to get the entire thumbprint placed on the grip. Okay, almost imagine you're trying to give like your identity. Okay, you've dipped it in ink, now push it into the grip. Okay, we need all of that information, so don't skimp on this. Don't barely get it on there or off to the side too much. The entire thumbprint needs to be on the grip. I can't stress the importance of that enough. Okay, and then once we do that, you're going to see the club is aligned from index pad to pinky pad. That's going to ensure that we've got the ability to push against the handle. Now we need a little bit more to push against, so we're going to do step number 4, and that's curling the fingertips. Now we've got the perfect holster and the perfect claw here for the handle to set in. So now it's just going to set right in our notch there, 20 degrees turn to the side, place that entire thumbprint on there, and then curl those fingertips. Now you can see we got perfect connection to the handle. And again, this is just something simple you can do right at home, but the coin drill, things like that, really going to be helpful for this. So great little process for you to work on, and now we've got our connection to the handle. So now we can start talking about all these awesome benefits. Okay, so benefit number 1, now that we've got this holster, we've got the club in there nicely, lead thumb on the top trail side of the club. notice when we do this how the club is running from index pad to pinky pad, and then we curl those fingertips. Is we've got really good grip pressure, but the club is in the fingers, and that's extremely important because when we talk about the first benefit is going to be the proper mobility that we're unlocking by getting the club in the claw like we have it right now. You see, the problem that most people make when it comes to gripping the golf club is they get the club a little bit too much in the palm. You see, where when they hold the club, they don't get the proper wrist and finger extension, and they definitely don't have the pinch. So they have what we call like a lobster claw. So this kind of encourages them to grab it like this, and then, I mean, when you do that, you can see the thumb is extended down the grip too much. It might not even be on the grip properly, and then very much in the palm. And this is where you feel like you have to grip it really tight to feel like you can be mobile with the club itself. So that's where now your wrists are really tight and your mobility of your wrists in the club has now been compromised. But because we went through our 4-step process and we have the proper kind of holster here to holster that club into, now we have the full mobility of our wrists and the club, which is how we're going to maximize our hand and arm speed relative to our body. And that's where the number one benefit's going to come from, because now we're going to really start to feel how we can lever that golf club, lag the golf club, and release the golf club. Okay, and that's really the number one key when it comes to getting distance. And the best place to look when it comes to this proper placement of the lead thumb and this stronger grip like we're talking about is the world long drive.
Feels effortless.
It's electric. The perfect ball flies, disappears in the sky.
And one thing that they all have in common, or 99% of them, is that they all have a strong grip, where that lead thumb is on the top trail side of the club. We got the 3 to 4 knuckles visible, and the lead elbow pointing to the right of the target for a right-handed golfer. And this is because this is how you're going to get that full mobility and full maximize the kind of acceleration of the club head relative to your body, and really get the maximum hands and arms speed relative to the body. And I mean, that's the best place to look. Like, we're looking at all the PGA Tour and LPGA and things like that, and that's great, but it's not their job to hit the ball as far as humanly possible. The long drive competition, it's their job. So that's a great place to look, and with all the studying that we've done, that was a really great spot to see, and a great confirmation to see that the lead thumb on the top trail side of the club was the best way to really maximize your hands and arm speed and get as much distance as possible. So great way, effortless speed, look right there. Okay, so now that we understand how to maximize that hands and arm speed, really get that lead thumb on the top trail side of the club, that allows you to kind of get that full winding sensation where we're winding that club head up and back around our body, lagging it behind us, and then releasing it out away from us. What's mobility without a little stability? And that's the second benefit that we're going to be talking about today. And the visual that I really want you to kind of use when it comes to understanding the proper stability with that lead thumb is we're going to imagine that the golf ball's sitting on the ground here, and that there's a nail sticking out of the inside part of the golf ball, pointing about 45 degrees off the side of the ball. And we're going to imagine that the club face is the hammer. And it's our job, now that the lead thumb is on the top trail side of the club, this is made easier, but it's our job to now take that hammer, lever it up and back at our trail shoulder, and then now lag it coming into the ball and feel like we're driving that hammer into that nail, into that inside part of that ball, feeling that club up and back of the hands as we're coming in, and then boom, down into that nail, really feeling that nail going into that golf ball as much as we can. And one thing we need with that, yes, we need mobility, but we also need stability. See, when you hit a nail, you want to feel the precision, and you want to feel like you're really hitting that nail properly. See, there's no point in hitting the nail hard if you're not hitting it square. And it's the same thing when it comes to hitting the golf ball. So really important that when we get this coming in the ball, hitting that nail, you can feel, look at the lead thumb, staying up and back as we're coming in, and then pushing down and really feeling that proper stability there. See, if we were off at any point here or here, that club face would be twisting over. And that's a common fault that we see, is that lead thumb not being placed on the club really affects impact, but also it affects the backswing too. I mean, you can see when we go to take the club back, if that thumb slides off to the side this way or off to the side that way, that's going to cause some problems when it comes to supporting the weight of that golf club. And then now you're going to be exposed when it comes to impact, being able to control that face and get the proper ball flight characteristics that we're looking for. So again, stability. Can't stress the importance of this enough. Visualize that hammer hitting that nail. It's a great way for you to understand how to get the proper stability to go with your mobility. Okay, so that leads us into our third and final benefit. And now that we got the proper mobility, stability, we're going to really be able to maximize our hands and arms speed relative to our body. And it's by getting the proper spring effect that we're going to create by getting this lead thumb placed on here properly. You see, the amount of torque and energy that this lead thumb pushing into the grip as we pull the club up and back at our trail shoulder is going to create is kind of amazing. And it's actually crazy that nobody talks about this in golf instruction, because it kind of feels like a cheat code. And it's something, when you look at a lot of really good players, especially those long drive golfers, they do this. I'm going to just do a simple drill for you to really understand how to maximize this kind of spring effect. And what you're going to do is get the proper placement of the lead thumb on the grip, going through your 4-step process. And then from there, feeling like your lead arm's nice and straight, you're going to feel like you grab just underneath the grip while still feeling like you're pushing down with that lead hand. And as you take the club back, you're going to push down and away, feeling that lead thumb kind of pushing against that grip. And as you do this, you're going to start pulling the club up and back at your trail shoulder here. And you're going to see when you do this, if you've got the proper connection here, the amount of torque that you're going to feel on that lead thumb. I mean, you can see right here when we look at that placement, the support and the torque that we have there. I mean, yeah, we got the stability, but the spring effect that energy is going to create at the moment of impact, I mean, it's a good thing we got the stability, because it's going to be unwinding pretty fast. I mean, it almost feels like we're kind of winding up a spring. And that's why this was saved kind of to the end, because this is the most important thing, and really want to dedicate a lot of time for you to understand how this is the easiest way to get the most effortless distance in your golf game. Like, you don't have to try to move your body fast and do all these things. Just understand getting this push-pull sensation and maxing out that torque on that thumb is the best way to now feel as you're coming into the ball. I mean, look at that. Still got it pulled up and back, and you can see full amount of torque here. Now if I just let it go, it's just gonna whip right through. I mean, the spring effect is real. I really feel like it's gonna help a ton of people, just seeing what that does for your game. Just let us know in the comments if you got any questions about anything. Again, this is just the easiest way to get maximum distance and just maximize your hands and arm speed relative to your body. If you can't use your body maybe as fast as some of these tour players or these younger golfers, this is just the best way to do it. And it's helped a lot of our students, and I really think it's going to help you a lot too. So look forward to seeing you in the next one, and thanks for watching.